Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, Jim Murray in his Bible of 2012 gave it a 95.5. Not everyone agrees with the up.
Is anybody else getting salt on the nose?
Yes to salt.
Yeah, I've got it on the palate.
Oh man, that's so nice. Just apricot. The bubble gum there.
I get a little like marshmallow, not toasted, just fresh out of the bag marshmallow.
Almost a light marzipan.
Ooh, the marzipan, like little almond extract stuff. I almost don't want to drink this. The nose is so good.
Well, actually, with water, this opens up even more. Don't want to add too much because it's already quite a low ABVs. Sometimes I'll pour some in the second glass, and I'll just put a little water in the second one, just for nosing afterwards. So
that's a pro move.
The finish is really herbal. It's like mint in there. Yeah, I've had this in a Glencairn for like 40 minutes, maybe more. And like each time I go and nose it, it's different.
Same with me, Mike. I put mine in like about an hour ago and checked up on it every 15 minutes, and it's an evolver.
Yeah, it's still developing. Yeah, Sam, I'm definitely getting that banana as well.
I was gonna say like a bananas Foster, like a little bit of nutmeg in there too.
Yep. Some flambe bourbon.
yeah, usually most of the whiskeys I drink, you always have some sort of a wood flavoring, or a sherry, or a port, or something that's overriding.
Yeah, this is just so balanced and different layers, different textures. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely a winner. I'm frightfully unaware of a lot of Tullibardine's releases, and if this is a showcase of like the heart of Tully, aged to perfection, I'm very, very impressed.
Yeah, this is a beauty. It's going
It'll
to
be quite the
interesting
comparison to the next one.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Like, we've got a very light, very spirit-driven 49-year-old, and then we've got this cup of
Coca-Cola.
coffee coming up next. The Dr. Pepper.
Did you get the bubblegum flavor, Mike? Or-
Yeah, I did. Yeah, there's bubblegum, there's banana, there's herbal stuff, marshmallows. I mean, it just, there's something new every time you go back to it.
I love how delicate this can be, but at the same time, it has it still has some punch in it. You know, there's that spice and wood in the finish that's just layers in there after a long time, and it just hangs with you. It's great.
Yeah, this is a real beauty.
Yeah, even just one drop of water brings out more of the banana and the sweetness.
Buried in there somewhere, there's a really nice herbalness. I almost get like hops in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to save like that last sip. I'm just going to come back to it and see what it's doing, and by the time we finish. I meant to do that with the 40-year-old Ben Nevis, but then I drank it all. So. All right, Mike, you're back.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. I froze up. I saw everybody frozen. So, but yeah, I kept drinking this one. For me, I get pineapples and dark chocolate. This is just a beauty.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with that combination.
Yep. Actually, Tullibardine was my first distillery I ever visited when I went to Scotland. I had a brand ambassador trip, and I was going to Deanston the next day, and I had all day. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Just hang out at the hotel? So I called the distillery, and they're like, yeah, we're accepting tours. So they actually came to pick me up at the hotel, and I was the only one at the distillery, and they gave me a private tour of the entire place. Went into the warehouse, and you see like thousands and thousands of casks, but they didn't own any of them because they sold them off when they did their expansion to get their cooperage and everything. So it was interesting. But they opened a couple pretty great Tullys. They opened one from the 70s for me to try. So this is the oldest Tully I've ever drank. But truly a gem and an amazing distillery, because every distillery is almost the same. It's, you got a mash tun, you got stills, you got a warehouse, but it's the people that matter. And the people that work at Tully are truly amazing people. So it's a small distillery and a small crew, but you feel really connected to the people when you're there actually taking a tour. You're on mute, Joe.
It's only about an hour from Deanston.
Yeah, it's I think it was about 40 minutes. So it was perfect. My hotel was in between the two of them. So I think I spent 5 hours at the distillery. I was like, I'm not leaving. If I'm the only one here, we're gonna have some fun. And of course, when you're the only one there and you're in the tasting room, you get to try absolutely everything. So I'm happy I had a ride home. But yeah, this is a gem. 62 and still at 45.1% in a 49 year. That's a gem. But it sure levels up from the Nevis. The Nevis it was amazing. But I find this one just levels it up.
Well, the nose on this 26 is saying that we're going to kick it up another notch here.
Yeah, we're going into the darkest sample of the night.
This is so concentrated.
I'll put up a photo here. Yeah, so here's the Tully 26 here. I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I don't know if it's me.
I think everyone hears it.
Okay.
No, you're good, Mike.
Okay. So this one here, 26 year, that was put in a cask in 1993, bottled in 2019, and a sherry hogshead. I'm assuming this is a first fill when you look at the color on this one here. And well, it just says there, matured in a fresh Oloroso. So this one here on the nose, I'm not going by those tasting notes on the nose, but deep fruits. I get a little sour note. And then this one's bottled at 45.1%, but I just can't believe the color of this one. I'm, you know, those sour keys? We're all talking candy here before, like, you know, those pink starburst and stuff. But yeah, I get almost those sour keys on the initial note, on the initial taste. But there's lots going on this one. But for sure, I get something sour, but in a good way. I don't know if you get the sour note.
Yeah, it reminds me of chocolate covered tart Oregon cherries.
That's really specific.
It literally, as soon as I put my nose up, it like transported me right to these candies that a friend of mine that lives up near Mount Hood sent me. I think maybe like 3 years ago. It was like directly the same smell as when I opened the candy box.
Nice.
This
I
one
get
I
this
have.
really concentrated nose here. I get it's that same kind of smell that I get when like I open a bottle of vitamins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you there, Mike. I just added a bit of water to tame the sourness a bit.
Mallory and Jody are getting maple notes, and I am getting that as well. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Mario's question. What's Zwieback? I have no idea.
That's why I was like, I'm not even going to read these. I have no idea what they are.
I'm getting mad Zwieback on this big time. Mike, you getting Zwieback on it?
I'm almost getting
On the nose.
I'm getting a little bit of cannabis on the nose. If that's what they mean by weedback.
Possibly. I'm gonna have to Google that.
So I'm going to Wikipedia here.
Zwieback is actually a type of sweetened bread that's primarily made in Europe. It's an affordable kind of counterpart to, like, if you can think of during the Depression, like sugar pie, something similar to that.
Nice.
According to Wikipedia, it's a rusk eaten in Poland, Germany, Scandinavia, Austria, France, Belgium, and a lot of other places. A type of crisp, sweetened bread made with eggs and baked twice.
It's a stonker of a Zwieback.
Mm-hmm.
Can we take a poll to see how many people Googled Zwieback at the same time there?
Yeah.
We just broke Google.
No, this one's really interesting. I never really got this more than a whiskey.
The person who is managing the Zwieback Google account just had like the most explosive amount of people searching ever. in its history.
Let's
I'm
not
buying
start
stocks in
editing the
Zwieback.
wiki page.
Yeah.
Zwieback tastes like Tullibardine 26-year-old.
They just saw all of these Google searches and are like, we must up production or we'll never meet it.
It's funky and cool. And that's the best way I can describe it.
Honestly, that's what whiskey's missing. We need more of the funk, the exciting stuff. Like we were talking before the show started, like with the Campbelltons and like that really unique funk. Like there's not much outside that region that hits that, but this is right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've tasted a few expressions from like 10 years ago, and you read the reviews from them and it's like they're going like high 70s, low 70s, but if they would release it today, it would be just blown off the charts and when it goes to reviewers. And I have my own take on whiskey reviewers, but I think those of us that want something different, want something funky, and something that kind of tests our palate on a whole different level. We talk Bruichladdich, right? Bruichladdich loves to have that different kind of flavor profile and experiment. And I think that's what we look for. Something different, something new, something to excite us. And you pour a good ounce and a half and then sit there and enjoy it for like an hour. And then you see it kind of explode even more and excite us. And I think, the next couple that we taste, the Edradours, I think those are going to give us that, what we look for, especially being bourbon casks, especially finishing in different casks as well. And getting those explosion of flavors that really come out. That Tully 62, that is a highlight for me so far. The 26 year though, it's cool. I like that funkiness of it. It kind of gives us that whole different aspect of, it's okay to be different. And I think that's the best way of putting it. It's okay to be different, and we can kind of enjoy it as a whole with it having those sour notes. Like that's the first time I really get that kind of note in a whiskey. And it's cool. I'm going to note it down because I want to look for another one that's like that and see how it actually changed over time.
Well, Joe, any closing notes you have for? I'm afraid to ask you to unmute your mic, but if you got any closing notes,
just towards the end, added a little water, and towards the end, I was getting like some tobacco and some either menthol or something. So it's amazing what water can do.
I was gonna say there's definitely some tobacco notes on the finish that I was picking up. It kind of reminds me of like acid cigars, like a Nadura wrapper acid cigar, where there's definitely like a herbal quality, like a spice quality to it as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. That was very nice.
All right, we'll move over to Edradour.
A little tobacco, a little herbal, a little menthol. The Virginia Slims of whiskey. What a beauty. All right, let's go Edradour.
This is where my computer froze last time when I was trying to go to the slideshow here. So let's see if it doesn't freeze. Perfect. There we go. Edradour Distillery. It's funny because you're looking back 10 years ago, there was very little of this distillery in Canada. We'd see it every now and then in Alberta, but throughout the country, very, very minimal. I know before I was a brand ambassador, I actually did a special order for it, and I brought in maybe 15 cases, and it spread across Ontario and Quebec. But ever since then, we're starting to see more and more, and it's pretty exciting when it comes to, you see those straight from the casks, You see just even their 10-year. I think their 10-year is just a great whiskey. And they really do focus on quality. They do spend a lot of time ensuring they do some great expressions for us. And it's not done to just pump out expressions. It's really focused on quality. And that's why it's called Scotland's Little Gem. It was really one of the last farm distilleries in Scotland. But now we're seeing a lot more craft distilleries. So it's not really, we still consider it the smallest distillery in Scotland. But it's, with everything, a lot of these new distilleries popping up and considered craft small distilleries and farm distilleries, it's kind of losing that title in the worldwide kind of whiskey world. But those who know Scotland still feel that it's Scotland's little gem. Now, when I showed you the photos of Ben Nevis, you saw everything pretty large. Edradour, everything is small. It is a small distillery, tiny mash tun, tiny stills, tiny washbacks. It's almost like you're in a brewery in a sense when you're seeing the small mash tun. But it's cool to see because it's the aspect that they've built and kept going for all these years and focusing on great quality whiskey. They like to experiment a lot as well in different casks. And, sometimes we look at Edradour and it's like, it's just Edradour. But when other main distilleries, release, like a Barolo or a Bordeaux, it's like everyone's excited. But when Edradour releases it, it's like, it's okay. It's just another expression from them. But they're amazingly well done. And there's a lot of focus and a lot of attention put into what they're actually releasing. And the two that we have tonight is the two 21-year-olds, but one's a Barolo cask finish and another one's a Bordeaux cask finish, both cask strength, and both distilled in the same year. So we're able to see how they evolved over the years. Of course, two different finishes, but at least we get to see two amazing expressions and small batch release from both from the distillery. So kicking it off, we're just going to start off with the Edradour Barolo cask finish 21-year. So the youngest spirit in this whiskey is from the 9th of August, 1999. That's the other thing I love about this story. They actually give us a lot of information when it comes to their expressions. Only 582 bottles were released and only 2 casks were used. So cask numbers 826 and 827. So distilled in 1999, the spirit was initially matured in ex-bourbon hogsheads for 13 years before being recast into a small batch of 7 freshly dumped premium Barolo hogsheads on the 18th of July, 2013. So they finished for about 92 months and getting something truly amazing. It's almost like it truly is a double maturation when you look at 92 months. But we're seeing more and more of those longer finishes in a lot of distilleries these days. They're able to experiment to get their Edradour or the distillery character, but also that nice finishing period as well. So this one here, 21-year Barolo finish. And yeah, we're getting to some sweetness. So we were mentioning maple syrup in the Tully. Yeah, this one here, maple syrup from those Barolo wine casks. And you're getting lots of different fruit notes as well. A little bit of spiced cinnamon. But then, that finish, when you taste it, you're going to see where those Barolo casks really outshine many other finishes as well. So this one here, 55.7%. And the Edradour 21-year Barolo cask finish, one of 582 bottles we get to taste.
Oh man, I love a red wine finish, especially when it's done this well.
That's some heat to it.
Ooh. And so much dark fruit.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But yet they've managed to not overpower the spirit.
Absolutely. It's scary sometimes with having a long finish. I remember I was sitting down with Jim McEwen and I was talking about that. Like, if, how do you know when it's the right time to stop that finishing? And he goes, you don't. That's why you have to spend every 2 weeks going in and testing a sample, making sure that that spirit is not overtaking it. Little easier with wines. Wines are a little more. It doesn't really overtake the spirit. Where if you're finishing in a cognac or any other spirit or rum, that could overtake the initial spirit if it's a longer finish. Wines, it's more or less you don't want it to be too much of that those fruit essences of the wine itself, but keeping some of those distinct flavor profiles of Edradour itself as well.
I know that I've had a couple of whiskeys that were finished in red wine casks, and the tannins have really overpowered everything else. So you take a sip and you pucker. It's got that much tannin in it. This is not that. This, you get those raspberries and the cranberries. I can see the red currant in those tasting notes. It's all there, but there's no tannin. That's not that oak, like, it's not there at all. It's just so smooth and integrated.
Absolutely. And even at that high percentage cask strength, initially I felt the heat, but on that second sip, it was like, okay, I know where they're coming with this one here. That's a beauty. A little heavier as well, which I like. And that sticks on your palate. That sweetness is there, but again, not overpowering sweetness. You don't feel it like those sugars getting into your gums, which we'll probably get on that Deanston. But it's nicely balanced across the board. I hope everyone else is maybe feeling the same way.
Yeah, balance is there, and I'm looking in the chat, and Amit and Jonathan both saying this is the highlight of the night so far. And with the life that we've gone through, I mean, those are big words. I just love the color. You get that little pink tinge to it.
Yeah. But I liked how, as we taste it, there's so much going on. It's almost like it's a roller coaster. It's like, okay, I get that raspberry jam, I get that maple syrup. Those, it's almost. I get apple pie, It's really all there. It's like taking me on a 4-course meal.
Well, it's interesting. I know for me, like my kind of first experience with like a big red wine cask finish was a couple of years ago. You remember that Deanston Bordeaux that came out? And that was a great whiskey. I enjoyed it a lot. But it was, in retrospect, it was a wine bomb, right? You got the sherry bombs. The Deanston Bordeaux was a wine bomb. Beautiful whiskey, loved it. This is a different animal. As you said, this is balanced. It's not overpowered. It's this is the difference between. I think the Deanston was 9 years old, and this was 21, right? So very different experience.
Yeah, I think where we'll see some of those similarities with the Bordeaux, Mike, is on the next one with the Edradour Bordeaux cask finish, and see how a nice Bordeaux finish kind of still keeps that distillery profile and then gets that Bordeaux, flavor profile mixed together and kind of makes that true beauty. I'm looking forward to that one for sure. That's been one I was eyeing when the samples were first dropped off, to see how that will kind of, how it connects with that whole lineup that we have tonight when we see especially the highlight ones when we look at the 62s, but see how it kind of can stand out on its own in its own way. So talking about the Bordeaux, while we just get to it and talk about that one there. We're seeing more and more Bordeaux casks coming out more in the last couple of years. And it's an interesting cask because, one, there's lots available. It's just really how it goes well in the whiskey itself. And this one here they're actually releasing, it's the Premier Grand Cru Bordeaux Hoghead that they used. And again, only 2 casks, finished for 88 months. And you're getting a cask strength, only less than 570 bottles. So a 21-year whiskey as well. And what I love about Bordeaux and what Mike was saying about that Deanston Bordeaux that was fully matured, I 100% agree. It's a wine bomb, but everyone loved it because most people that love sherry bombs that try the Deanston Bordeaux fully matured, it kind of fits right into a sherry bomb, the wine bomb. Lots of similarities in the flavor profile, not as much dryness as an Oloroso. So the Bordeaux kind of gives you that sweetness and it carries on. So when you go to that second dram, you'll get that dryness in the mouth that you get with an Oloroso sherry bomb. So this one here, 21-year Bordeaux cask finish. So this one's being finished for 88 months. So you think, that's good amount of time when we overview that. So 8 years. So let's see how. I don't know if the majority of those who are with us tonight tried the Deanston Bordeaux mature. That was a 9-year. So here we are getting an 8-year finish to a Bordeaux and seeing if it overpowers it or it gives you that balance that we enjoyed with the Barolo. Well, there's those jelly beans they're saying that they have. I say yellow, orange jelly beans, and then not an overpowering on the nose. It's light balanced on the nose. Just my first sip, it just gives me a little bit of heat, so I got to take the next one to see where it comes. But I get a lot of sweetness, a lot of those sugar notes, and lots of oranges. All right, stop the share, and we can have a discussion on Edradour.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting the citrus, like big blood orange and grapefruit, lime zest.
I expected a lot more on the nose. I thought it was going to be more overpowering on those Bordeaux, but I like it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just expected more of that Bordeaux kind of punch.
Mike, you have been spoiled by the Buna Bordeaux.
Yeah. I may have one behind me.
Yeah. It's amazing how underrated it is compared to the PX. Whereas I'll take that over PX any day.
Yeah. I have a shipment waiting for me in Elma, New York. I think it's a case or two of them. So.
Yeah, we heard that before.
Yeah, I got a list of names of reserves.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in Hamilton. As soon as they open the border, I can recount it for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Mike is going to be our new mule. He's only 25 minutes from the border.
Well, my buddy actually works in Niagara Falls. So what I'll do is I'll just tell him to go to your place and drop off the bottles.
Yeah, I'm in Niagara too, so not too far away.
Nice.
It seems everybody moved closer to the border. And that's why they closed it.
It's just a coincidence. What a palate.
Does anybody get like a lemon meringue on the nose?
I get a little bit on the finish.
I get a ton of citrus in the nose. But on the palate, I'm getting like darker fruits. I'm getting raspberries, I'm getting blueberries. I'm getting echo.
That's me. Sorry.
I think it's me. No, it's okay.
But I prefer the nose on the Barolo.
The nose, yeah, I think the nose on the Barolo is nicer, but the palate on this Bordeaux is just unreal. It's explosive.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, that Barolo. Oof. It's it could be a contender for my highlight. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little water for me on that Bordeaux just brings out so much sour fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I know not everybody likes that, but I love sour fruit in that whiskey, like not quite ripe raspberries.
Mm-hmm. I like the added water to this one as well.
Mm-hmm. And I like Ricardo's point here about the mouthfeel. That's something we haven't really talked about too much tonight. But both of these Edradours are just really velvety on the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Are these chill filtered, Mike?
They aren't. They're unchill filtered.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that can have a lot of influence on that mouthfeel.
Yeah, like it's nice and oily as well, which I like.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting that some people are getting soap and lavender for these Edradours. I didn't get that at all, and I'm very sensitive to those notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got soap. I thought it was my glass that maybe I had not cleaned it well.
Yeah, it's the overpowering nose and palate for me on both of those Edradours.
Mm-hmm.
My wife was nice enough to light this apple cinnamon candle in the room. That was the first thing I did was blow it out.
Yeah, smart move. No, I like Edradour, and it's too bad we can't get more in Canada. And I've said it a few times. It's allocations in Canada are really diminishing because it's most of the whiskey companies are looking at other markets, and this is one where honestly I think we would just eat it up if there was more of these expressions coming in. A little pricier, like these aren't cheap when it comes to if they were to release in Canada, you're probably looking 350 Canadian, maybe a bit more if it were to come into market. But it'd be awesome to see more of them. The experiments they do release some great whiskeys, and that's why like the 10 year is great. If we can, the 10 year I love their 12-year Caledonia.
The Caledonia is fantastic. It's one of my favorite whiskeys out there.
Yeah, it's just perfect. Like it's not overpowering. It's I think the one thing I like about them is the balance. It's you get a continuous flavor, and it may change as you have your next sip, and your next dram, but it's always something new. But the balance is always there. You're always getting consistency, and I think that's a reputation that they hold.
Ricardo, what do you think about a world of whiskey straight from the cask store pick?
I'll get right on that and see what happens.
I love it. Love it.
So we started with Ben Nevis. We had a couple Tullys. We have a couple Edradours. What's your, looking back at the first five, like I see it's elevated as we've went on. The Tully 26 has maybe been a little heavier, but where do you like? Is there a favorite so far? Like it's like I'm saying that now because the Deanston PX, if you knows that one, it's dangerous. It's probably going to screw your palate for the night after you taste that one.
Yeah, I'm going off more after this.
Yeah.
For me, the Nevis was my highlight. Just everything I love about Ben Nevis, that palate explosion and the tropical fruit bomb, it was all there, but just layered so delicately. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going back to my empty glass, and I'm getting that peat that they talk about, always having a little bit of that peat on the nose. I'm getting in the empty glass.
It's the highlight of the night for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's not quite empty. Drop left.
Just nosing the empty glass, even.
Yeah. Beauty. So leading into our last whiskey, many of you know I used to be the brand ambassador for this distillery, and and it's truly an amazing distillery. I'm with the 3 distilleries I used to represent. I still love each and every one of them, and I won't stop drinking them. And just a couple of years ago, Deanston started releasing some warehouse 4 bottlings, and they started off with the Union bottling, and then it kind of proceeded from there. So now you can actually have a warehouse tasting experience there. The warehouse is quite unique at Deanston because it used to be an old cotton mill, and they used to actually use the warehouse as their weaving shed, and it was built in 1831. And it was so that they can store the cotton so it actually wouldn't split. So the humidity and the temperature fluctuations be minimal. So it'd always be a constant same temperature. So that's where Deanston actually has all of their casks to mature. And not only Deanston, the majority of Tobermory and Lechick is maturing at the Deanston distillery as well. And because of that uniqueness of a warehouse, they thought it'd be awesome to open up a warehouse tasting. So that's where warehouse 4 tasting really came into effect. And that's the whiskey. One of the whiskey that we're having tonight is part of Warehouse 4, which is a 1997 PX cask matured. Now, what's cool about Deanston, it's a young distillery. It's established in 1966, and leading up to now, it's really about experimental. And if you saw my Instagram post, I talked about the past, the present, and the future. And Deanston, I think, is really the future of the Highlands a bit. Edradour is there as well, and experimenting, trying different things, and offering unique cask finishes and maturations. And there's a lot of juice there. So Deanston has a lot of cask to play around with, and this is one where you see a lot of those awesome finishes. So I say we because I still think I work for them. 1997 Palo Cortado, like never seeing that type of cask finish very often in many distilleries, and showcasing Calvados casks and showcasing all kinds of different influences. And Deanston is trying to turn the page, and many whiskey enthusiasts are jumping on the Deanston bandwagon because there's some cool things to come. And you can see it in this one here. This is a 100% dessert whiskey. Think of sherry soaked raisins. Think of chocolate syrup. Think of Black Forest cake is what comes to mind when I taste this whiskey. Cash strength 55.7%, and it's got a lot going on. The nose and explosion. It's like Christmas spices on the nose and molasses. It's just a beauty. So I'm happy this is the last one because, like I said, it would just kind of screw your palate if we tasted this before because the sweetness just gets right into your gums. So yeah, Deanston. It's a cool distillery, and it's a distillery that just wants to have fun. Julianne Fernandez, who's the master blender, Brendan McCarron, who's now the master distiller, have a lot of cool things to come. If you tried Deanston Virgin Oak before, Brendan's changing Deanston Virgin Oak. He wants to experiment and make it even better at that price point. So they're really trying to innovate and make it better. And I think that's what we need in the whiskey world. And it shows in a lot of Deanston, a lot of Bunna. But this one here, if you like sweetness, this is right for you. Mm-hmm. And if you love PX, and I know Russ does,
Oh, this is both for Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's PX done right for sure. I got like, there's a wonderful malty like pie crust to the finish that I could just exist in.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna let that sit on your mustache and revisit it later.
Most definitely. That's like 99% of the. I let the mustache go to a certain point, and it's the sample stash level.
Yeah. I love it. Oh.
I got like a pear tart kind of, going back to that pie crust, like a warm pear tart, maybe a little bit of like a caramel frosting.
Mm-hmm.
That's just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that's a gem.
That's it. I'm opening another one.
Bottle top challenge.
Yeah.
That hits all the right notes for me.
Whenever I fall in love with a PX whiskey, I'm like, am I basic? But then I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, it's a PX lightweight. There's some PX that I like a third PX. It just calms it down a bit. It's not overpowering, but this has got to be a first fill because you really get that full essence of the PX molasses and everything.
Well, it's all there. I just want to have this for dessert after every meal. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jim.
Can't say it's overly complex by any means, but it's perfect in what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a sherry bomb. Like,
yeah.
That's it. That's what it wants to be, and my God, that's what it is.
There's a bit of creaminess though to it too that I really enjoyed, like almost like a French vanilla cheesecake kind of effect.
Little water brings out some really nice farmy funk.
Yeah, there is a creaminess that coats your tongue. I'm with you there, Tim.
This thing is awesome. It's it kind of reminds me of like an Islay without the peat. It has that like saltiness, the sweet and salty. It's fucking awesome. I made it a little bit late to the tasting, but I made it to Joe's garage right from work, and I finally got the weekend. But yeah, these are also good. All of them.
We got someone else under. Welcome, Rocky.
Thanks for having me. I literally raced here from work. I finished at 6 o'clock, and it's a 50-minute drive. I came straight from work. I brought my kid in my truck, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going straight to Joe's after work." And yeah, I basically did a little bit of sip through all of them to kind of get through, and made it just in time for the Deanston. This one's awesome. They're all really great, but yeah, this one's it's good stuff.
I'm glad you can make it, brother.
Yeah, me too.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Flying to Rocky. So throws a bit of a wrench into things. I still think I'm Team Nevis, but that Deanston, oof. Trying to figure out where that slots in.
Yeah.
I think you got to break it down. So you have to go with the eras. Like Tully 26, it's kind of on his own. And then you got Tully 62, Ben Nevis, kind of its own playing field. And then you got Edradour and Deanston, kind of like in their own playing field.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm still Team Nevis. That Tully 62 was special.
Mm-hmm.
The Tully 26 was a bomb. Both Edradours are rad. And the Deanston is a PX punch in the face.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a bad whiskey in here. I'm going to just throw that out.
Yeah.
There's not a not amazing whiskey in here.
Yeah, this is a stellar lineup.
Yeah, Russ. Damn, son. Setting the bar high again.
Yeah. Well, keep trying to push the envelope, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I had this spare one. I wasn't sure how popular this lineup would be, so that's why I did the bottle pop here, because I had 2 of almost everything here. I just
All right, I'll be on a plane. I'll see you guys.
Well, if you need to send some more samples,
Yeah, you have all of our addresses.
Yeah.
Well, I'm flying out to Vancouver end of November. I guess I can make a stop in Edmonton.
Yeah. You're always welcome here, my friend.
You're muted, Rohit.
I'm saying, Mike, are you trying the Glenlivet for 80 years old?
Yeah. I got invited to the invite-only dinner for the Gordon MacPhail 80-year release.
Yeah. So are they doing that in Toronto too, or just
No.
in Vancouver?
Just Vancouver, and they're going to do the Vancouver one is invite-only, and then they're going to do a dinner ticketed event in Victoria during the Victoria Whiskey Festival.
Hmm.
I'll try to steal some samples for everybody. I'll bring some sample models.
Yeah, get a sample of that ball, $140,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm really lucky and humbled to be asked to go and try it. Like, I go into my wife and saying, so, I haven't traveled in 2 years. I got offered flight and hotel to taste, $140,000 whiskey. I'm like, are you okay if I go and leave you with the 3 kids? So she said yes. But before I asked, I cleaned the entire house. I did all the laundry. I made sure everything was like decently good and the kids were behaving. So when the kids were down, I'm like, so what do you think? She's like, I think we're okay. So I've learned my lesson over the years of when I ask for things.
Well done, Mike. Well done. Seasoned veteran move right there.
Yeah, good prep work.
all that for that quarter ounce of whiskey.
Yeah.
It'll be worth the trip, Mike, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be
good. It's
If
more
not,
it's more of an experience, right?
Oh
yeah. It's the experience, and I guess I've tasted a 70-year-old whiskey before. It was over oaked, so I'm interested to see how this is. Reading the tasting notes and those who have tasted, they said it's just truly amazing. But is it truly amazing because it's an 80-year whiskey? They're saying it's, like you can't compare it to really anything unless you try the 78-year Macallan.
Exactly. How would you know?
Yeah. So it's really that. It's the experience. And I'm sure like it's a dinner that is going to be fully probably some amazing food that's going to try to hype it up even more. So I'm hoping that the 80 years tasted first, but usually in most tastings that the 80-year will probably be tasted last after you try some other expressions. So it's keeping my palate in good shape before I get there.
Yeah, they have done these 40 to 50 years in Toronto earlier.
Mm-hmm.
With Rosebank, Port Allen, stuff like that. I think it was a couple of years back. I think in 2017, Sam was there, I believe.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember those.
Mike, I got an invite, but they didn't have any keto options, so I was
The
like,
McAllen one?
yeah.
Was it the
Like
McAllen
an
one?
awesome opportunity.
Yeah. It's like I almost bought it. It was on the Whiskyorder website. But when they refused to give me free shipping, I said, I'm not getting it.
Yeah, forget it, right? Like,
on top of,
You're such a sensible guy, Rohit.
yeah, on top of 80,000 pounds, they wanted 40 pounds shipping. Said, I'm not doing that.
I've
You
learned
can get that,
from
you
hosting,
can get
a few
that shipped
tastings.
directly to Ontario, picked up by the LCBO.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
That
so you
would be
can pay
160,000 pounds.
Yeah.
in import fees.
I've learned from doing a few tastings where there's been some high-end whiskeys that there's always a few people that don't show up. So I'll have a few sample bottles in my pocket for those people who don't show up.
yeah, I'll deliver these myself. Yeah, just
Crawling on your belly under the tables and just sliding into other people's seats.
Yeah. I'll bring a different jacket. Just
You know what you should do, Mike, is find out the carpet pattern and just get that stitched to the back of your jacket so you can slide around undetected.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a fun one. And if there's anybody on tonight that lives in Vancouver, if you want to meet up for a dram while I'm there, I'll have a suitcase usually full of stuff that comes with me.
Followed up with a Glenlivet 12.
Yeah.
Don't
Go
swallow.
with Glenlivet
Don't swallow that 80 years and put it back in the sample bottle. And nobody's.
Mike, what's the venue that tasting's at?
I don't have the info yet. I got the invite last week, and I know that they were meeting with like a few venues, and then they're going. I guess there's the wine list and everything they're trying to set up. I just got to book my flight and my hotel, and they'll reimburse me, and then I'll just go on live while I'm there, so everyone can kind of like experience it with me.
Live vicariously through you. Yeah, tag me. I'm into that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to know who's going to be catering that event, because I imagine there's going to be some pretty fantastic food pairings, and there are so many amazing restaurants in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Do you know what's the ABV
Mike,
on that
you just need
Glenlivet?
to book the Four Seasons.
I think it's 44% or 45%.
After 80 years, right?
Yeah. Well, Gordon MacPhail, they don't turn the cask. They leave them as is in their warehouse, so they don't actually ever touch them.
Yeah, they have some
Does that keep
amazing,
a higher
they have some
ABV?
amazing older whiskeys. Even Macallan's, right? I think they have, at this point of time, they probably have more older whiskey than Macallan itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, the rumor was that Macallan's going to release an 81 or an 82-year-old next year to say that they're the highest.
Mm.
Didn't they just announce an 80? An 80 year?
Glenlivet, Gordon MacPhail, Glenlivet 80 year. That's the most recent, which is now the oldest.
No, I thought Macallan came out with a 40, 50, and 80. Like they just announced it like a couple days ago. It was
Really?
like a 3-bottle set.
40, 50, 80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With $1 million
Because the last
vodka,
they had
not
was
bad.
78. The red collection.
Yeah, the red. There's the 3 and the age is written in the red on it.
I don't see
It almost makes me
Macallan to
wonder
come
if
out with
somebody
that $1 million set.
are out there just hiding. There's probably so many.
It didn't say how many bottles or anything. It just said that they were releasing it.
Well, when they found the oldest one at the time, it was the Glenfiddich.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's time to go grab a 7. I'll be right back.
I'll join you, Mike.
We got any first timers here? Any people online that this is their first tasting? Well, it looks like we cleaned out a lot of people.
If I say me, do I win a prize?
Yeah, you win a prize. Yeah, you get to fly out to Edmonton and mute Joe's mic for one whole tasting.
Woohoo! I'll be tech support.
Your tech support at Joe's house.
I love all of Russell's technical jokes. The technical jokes and OCD jokes, fully appreciated, buddy.
I am so OCD. It's crazy. And not tech savvy at all. So thankfully, I got guys like Mike and, well, Mike Brisebois and all these guys that can help me guide. Everybody contacts me with the technical support stuff, and I just refer them to Mike, and he's usually hosting. So then I got to walk poor guys like Joe through the tech support aspect of things. So what's everyone?
Because you have all the merchandise, Russ.
Yeah. What's that, sorry?
I said it's because you have all the merchandise, so everyone just refers to you for every question.
Well, I suppose that is true. No shortage of merchandise over here. What's everyone pouring now for their 7th dram or 8th dram or whatever it is?
I say Molson Canadian, is that wrong?
Glen Allachie 10 cask strength.
It's a good one.
It holds up.
Oh, absolutely, that does. That's a beautiful dram.
Especially after those last couple, you need something with some punch to it too.
You need something with a kick for sure. And that's got everything.
I just grabbed a dram full Cola Ali sample, which is Kulila, obviously, and it's a PX 57.5 little sample I've been sitting on.
Okay, on the side, Tim, you have best tasting notes ever. Just
So
saying.
what was that? Sorry, my phone just fell.
You're
Sorry about that. One sec.
You got some stellar tasting notes, my friend. Top notch.
Thanks, man. It's funny too. I get so much like desserty thing, and I'm not a dessert person either. So when I give these like candy notes and dessert notes, it's odd to me. I don't know if it's because it just sticks in my head, but thank you. These tastings that Russell and the rest of the team have put together. I like to consider myself like a whiskey journeyman, like an explorer, and it's fantastic. I can't even tell you how many expressions that I never would have bought myself that I've come into contact with because of New.Whiskyorder and through the membership trading samples. Like, it's expanded my personal palate and nose immensely. So thank you to everybody who puts all of these together. Both the mics, you guys are rock stars.
Yeah, I'm going with the
early dog too.
I gotta show up Russ every now and then. His backdrop is killing me.
Well, I can't let Russ have the only bottle pop of the evening
Damn.
So, I said after that 3X we're going to have to go with Oxmoor, and I wasn't joking. So this is the third release 10-year. So let's get into that. I don't know where the microphone is on my my headset here. So let's, I don't know.
Ooh. That worked.
Good. So yeah,
how far is Hamilton from Niagara?
Not real far. So this is my favorite Octomore that's not called Orpheus or Comus. So Slantia. So that's spectacular. But we know that with Octomore, the neck pour is the worst part. It's only going to get better.
That is
And I also
absolutely
noticed
true.
that this is my third bottle of this.
Which one was that, Mike?
This is the 10-year third release, the Dialogo.
Oh yeah, that's a ripper.
It's absolutely spectacular. Like port casks, sherry casks, Sauternes casks, bourbon casks. It's all in there. You get that Octomore punch, but it's a little older. It's all the rough edges are smoothed off, and it is just so complex. It's like if you peated a black art, this is what you get.
Yeah, I hear that and a half. I have a bottle of that. It's open at my mother-in-law's, and I'm going to be there tomorrow, or actually Saturday. We have a wedding to go to, and we're all going together. So I might chuck a little bit of that in a flask.
Well played.
Sneak it in. Have you had the new 12 yet? Has anybody had the new 12.2?
I haven't tried any of them. I have a 12.2 and a 0.3 on pre-order at Kensington right now. Apparently, the 12.2 is real close to the 4.2, and that is my favorite Octomore.
That's what I heard as well. So I've been I got my 12.2. I got two at the beginning of the week. They showed up. I'm fighting very, very hard now not to go and open it up
Tim,
for a live bottle.
Crack it right now. I need to hear.
Really? I guess I should then.
I'm going to push your arm.
I'll fall into the peer pressure.
Yes.
All right, thanks again for having me, host. I got to take off, but honestly, pretty epic lineup, and look forward to coming back. Thanks, Russ, for having me.
See you, Mike.
Amazing stuff, Mike, as always. Cheers, man.
Cheers all.
Anybody else want to join the Octomore train?
There she is.
That is dead.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Later.
Okay, good night, Drew and Sheila. Good to see you. Have a great night.
Bye.
All right. It's got a nice recessed foil.
Oh yeah.
That's the bottle nose is interesting. I'm not gonna lie. We'll see how
Interesting. Good.
Yeah, not like any Octomores that I've had before. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
There's something magical that happens when Brook Laddie Spirit meets a Sauternes Cask.
It's definitely a match made in heaven.
It really is.
I think some of my favorite peated with like top 5 ever are all their Lockendall, Sauterne, or Octomore Sauterne.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the peat and sweet. Oh, there's some menthol. Very, very light.
I just got my Port Charlotte 16 5
Oh, I saw that post.
Yeah, just got it today and tempted to open it, but I figured I'd go with the Octomore.
Yeah, that was a solid move. That the 16 is really nice. It's I've had I think 2 other a 15 and a 16-year-old PC. They were single casks though, and the I'm sorry.
The archive bottle?
Yeah. And that was unbelievable. There's definitely.
I've got the 16 archives. I haven't opened it yet.
I got a sample of that. I don't have a bottle. I would kill for a bottle, but. The Octomore. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I said it's in Hamilton.
Oh yeah. There's definitely like a tobacco, a light tobacco, like a Connecticut broadleaf, but not dark, and a hint of menthol, sultanas. There's you still get the floral quality that you get from any Bruichladdich spirit. The peat is very light on the nose, and I haven't had anything peated at all tonight.
Should I open one?
What?
What should I open? Have you had the 4.1?
You got a 4.2?
No, sir.
What do you mean you don't got a Comet just kicking around?
So, I think I have a 4.2 sample that I could compare this to live if that is something that you guys would be interested in.
I want nothing less. I want nothing more than that.
Tim, you
How
got
often does Octomore get bottled independently?
But I gotta wait until the 12.2 shows up before I do a head-to-head. That's kind
How
of
often is Octomore bottled independently?
What was that, Tim?
How often does Octomore get bottled independently?
Pretty rarely. So, Elements of Violet have done a couple Octomores. I tried a sample of Rest and Be Thankful Sauterne Cask Octomore, and it was unbelievable. But
I have a bottle
Be Thankful
of that. It's Boutique Whiskey Company, but it's under their Characters of Isla series.
Yeah,
and it's a 9-year-old Octomore.
So the Rest and Be Thankful Sauterne are both rippers too.
Unreal, so good.
Unfortunately, I think I drank my 4.2. I had half of a sample left from Artisan. I got a bunch from Derek, and I think I drank it at the end of the last tasting that I did because it's not in my Octomore sample collection. So sorry for beefing that up to just tear it away from you. But I can honestly say I know for a fact I've had the 4.2 a bunch of times. It's not quite at the 4.2, but it's very, very close.
That's how I found the Rest and Be Thankful. I was like, this is almost Comet, but not quite.
Yep. Yeah, this is like terrible score. I'm very stingy with my 90s. This is still a 90 point, maybe a 91 even, where the 4.2 is a solid 9.5. Yeah, I mean, it's. I think. Do you know? Does anybody remember what the ppm of the 4.2 is offhand?
No,
I'm gonna whiskey base it.
Sorry, the 4.2?
Yeah.
167.
Yeah. So I think that's a factor for me. This is in the 120s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 129. I mean, it's still. After all of those Highlands, all I wanted was a little bit of peat, and this is like a intravenous, but light intravenous peat injection. It's very, very tasty. I'm glad I got two.
Well, I'm just waiting for my one. All right, Amit, Alan's leaving us. Have a good night, brother.
Good night, Adam.
And Ian, just open the bottle, man. Go for the OBA. You know, we're talking off the Black Party. You might as well.
Hey, Tim, you'll have to mute your mic. For some reason, yours is the one that's causing an echo.
Yeah, no worries. I got it.
All right, who else is popping bottles tonight?
The Octomore train.
Might as well. Russ, what you got there, buddy?
7.4. My third favorite Octomore.
Ooh, going with a little virgin oak.
What's 1 and 2?
Well, you know, I actually haven't had some of the more spectacular ones like a guy like Mike or Tim have had, but 6.3 and 7.3 are my number.
I'm ISO at 7.3. I need to get one of those.
So, Russell, you're saying.
Sorry, go ahead, Ricardo.
I was going to say you're saying the 6.3 is your favorite, then the 7.3, or the 7.3 and then the 6.3?
Mine's the 6.3, then the 7.3, and then 7.4.
Yep.
And then probably 6.1, actually. I really like the 6.1.
Yeah, the 6.1 is wild. That's like I had actually the first time I had that at the the first taste I had of it was at the distillery. I went to Isla as one of the legs of my honeymoon because my wife is fucking awesome, and let me we're both Scottish stock. Her family's from Mull, my family's from Inverness, and she let me direct our honeymoon. So we were all like I bought the 6.1 and the 6.3 at the distillery and tasted them, was absolutely blown out of my socks at that point. And that was like the switch was fully turned. It was like dwindling kind of. I was a bourbon guy for a really long time and it was just hanging there, and then boom, the Scotland trip was my turning point in the 2015. So
nice.
You did right.
I think for me, Octomore, it's 4.2, 2.2, 10-year third release, and 6.3.
Yeah, there's some, the independents are crushing from it. That Syrah cask, Friends of Bruichladdich is fully next level. I haven't tasted the 12.3 yet. I have 2 bottles that are on their way here right now, and I feel like that could possibly be a contender.
Yeah,
the Jim McEwen Dram Full 1.3, that was a wine cask, Octomore as well. That might be my favorite one ever. Followed by OBA, and then the FOB Syrah.
Yeah, there's some beauties out there for sure.
Venturing back to this beast, the 19 Bruichladdich Sherry Valentin Mallet bottle.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Which is beastly.
Ian, what did you pour? What did you
That's
up there?
That's impressive, Sam. That's a flex. I appreciate it.
We're going to it.
So what did you pour, Ian?
Well done, Sam.
All right, good night, Ricardo.
The Cadball Estate 15, that was it. Just a simple.
Cadball, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, hold up. Is Hazel joining us?
This may have been the one that I was talking about, the farm. Just pure farmy all over the place.
I had bought 2 bottles of the OBA from the distillery when they were released, so I got them at regular price. And I asked a friend in London if he would receive them for me, and he said yes. So when I ordered them, they weren't yet bottled. So about 3 months later, they finally announced they bottled them, and they sent me an email saying they had been delivered. And I called my buddy about a month later and said, "Hey man, you just sold 2 bottles from me, right?" He goes, "I don't know, they never showed up." So I called the distillery and I say, "What the hell?" And they sent me back a proof of delivery, and I call him and I say, "Well, here's who signed for it." And he goes, "Oh shit," which is again never the thing you want to hear. And apparently he had a friend of his who was staying in the Hebrides, and he just thought that somebody had sent him 2 bottles of whiskey from Highland. So he opened one with a bunny hits on his back porch.
Ow.
That is absolutely brutal.
Well, if you're going to open a bottle, it might as well be that one.
Good for him.
So I think you're going to be sending any Event Horizon bottles over there as well?
Mike gave me the authority to mute people, and I accidentally muted you, Ian. I apologize.
Story of my life, man.
I wondered why I couldn't hear him. I was like, is it me?
Jesus Christ, Russ. Within like 10 seconds of me giving you the power.
I do not deserve such power.
With great power comes 0 responsibility, apparently.
I'm cutting you off. Revoke moderator role.
Oh, he just revoked it. Son of a bitch.
Aims giveth and he taketh away.
He's actually now holding my Balvenie Rose Story number 2 bottle right now. So I'm still sending him bottles. An idiot.
Well, I'm sure he'll enjoy it.
Well, I was just in the UK. I got back 2 days ago, but I've got 36 bottles there right now, so I only can bring back like 5.
Yeah, I want to see that suitcase that you you brought back?
Yeah, I brought back a lot of. I brought back 5 actual bottles, and then all of the boxes and like the stuff for the bottles that are still there, just so next time I can just bring the bottles back. But I have a really good hard shell suitcase with lots of bottle carriers. So
Yeah, I know. Whenever I go out to Alberta to visit family, I go out there, I buy a suitcase there, I fill it with bottles, and I bring it back.
what I do is I take like a little duffel bag and I move all my clothes into the dirty clothes into the duffel bag, and then fill the suitcase with that I brought over with the bottles.
Last time I was out there, I just put my all my clothes in a box and had my brother mail it to me back in the post. More room for whiskey.
That's a
So
pro.
I found a unicorn bottle for myself and bought it, and DHL has delivered it to the wrong place. So somebody's been sitting on my box for like almost a week, and I am super worried that I'm never going to see it again. Because they received it, right? They just delivered it to the wrong address. The guy signed for it. Didn't call them back to say, hey, this is not mine. I wasn't expecting this. So I'm quite
Doesn't
worried
sound
that
good.
somebody's just drunk a 1,500-pound bottle of Ardbeg.
Yikes.
What bottle is
Oh
it?
God, that's a heartbreaker.
Yeah. It was the 2011 Faishio.
Yeah.
It's like one of the last 3 I have to get the whole set. So I'm really super upset about it.
Well, I remember right back at the start of the pandemic, so this is like March 2020, I had bought an Octomore 6.3 from a buddy in Quebec in February of 2020. And he sent it to my office in Toronto. And it arrived. So we were in Mexico. We got back that next week. So like Monday, March, I don't know, 13th or 14th. He mailed it over that weekend. It was sent to my office. Our office had closed for the pandemic at that point. Canada Post had stopped doing the ask for signature. They had moved to the drop and knock model, which was actually chuck it from the truck onto your doorstep and drive the fuck away at full speed. And my office is in a shitty part of Toronto. So somebody at King and Strawn in Toronto got themselves a real nice bottle of Octomore. I never received it.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
I got a heartbreaker for you, Mike. It's not quite as heartbreaking as Ian's because Ian's is a lot harder to find. But I'm currently in limbo on about 27 bottles. 7 David Simpsons. 3 Lafroig 33s.
Oh, God.
And a whole pile of Port Charlotte Valanche. The new one.
Damn.
Yeah. So you wonder where the Monsters of Isla is coming from? Yeah, that one's kind of. I'm just kind of waiting, and it all is based on improper documentation on the importation of the whiskey. So
I don't know if.
And I have.
Is it that 09, Charlotte?
That's my reaction right now too.
Yeah, but I
he's
mean,
moving.
those can all be bought again. Ian's on the other hand, that
Yeah.
can't be bought again. So
I mean, it came with the poster. I got the poster from the 2000. It's like, the thing is, it was to be delivered to my buddy's house, same buddy, it turns out, in London, and because I was there, I was going to pick it up, and by the time, so they told me they delivered it on Friday. I showed up on Monday, and realized that they delivered it to the wrong place. And then I had to come home before they worked it out. So I've been calling them every day. And they don't really seem to be taking it with quite the same urgency that I feel about it right now. But they insist that tomorrow they're going to go back to they know exactly where they delivered it. So yes. But I believe this guy's going to say yes. He's going to say open and drunk over or something. Because it's literally one of the last 3. I got 53 sitting on my shelf right now. And it's one of the last 3 I have to to have for the fucking whole set. Just I'm so upset about it.
Do you at least have insurance for that or anything?
What's that?
I Canada Post maxes your insurance out at $100.
Yeah, you get $100 back.
Russ, is it the RDC 01? Is that the one that you're waiting for?
Yeah, I ordered a ton of them too, because I was like, well, obviously they're smaller size, so I'm like, well, we haven't done Port Charlotte in Monsters of Isla, and we'll try this one out. Yeah, so there's a bunch of those. I also have some Edradour, some really, really unique casks, like some German specific releases, like some oddball casks that I was really looking forward to getting my hands on. So, but you got to roll with the punches. Same with when these samples go out and some of them leak, you got to roll with the fucking punches. You just.
I had 2 bottles break on the way to Toronto in the last month.
Yeah,
and they repackaged everything. Didn't let me know that anything got damaged, and it was just like in a little plastic zip sealer was like the original shipping label of the box that was destroyed, and the bottle that was destroyed in it and ruined the box, and they just repackage it up, don't tell you shit, put a new label on the fucking box, and you get it and you're like, oh, okay. And one of the boxes I had was three of us, 12 bottles, and I'm like, oh yeah, everything arrived fucking great. He's like, where's this bottle? I was like, what do you mean, where's this bottle? He's like, yeah, I don't see that bottle in the picture. I was like, there's no bottle. He's like, what the fuck do you mean? I'm like, okay, let me go check the box. Stuffed in the thing, the cutout of the original box. I was like, dude, clearly fucking shattered.
Yeah.
Leaked all over everything.
Not to one-up you, but I'm going to one-up you because I ordered direct from Deanston, okay? The 23 hand-fill Oloroso matured. I ordered 8 of them direct from Deanston. And first off, don't ever order direct from Deanston, Bunnahabhain, or just I don't even know if you can anymore. But the box showed up and it was malleable. You could actually just take it, you could just squish it like it was nothing. The only thing holding it together was the tape. So the whole 4 of the bottles had shattered, and then those bottles had leaked onto the other seals, which on a hand fill is just like a little paper tab. So it was just destroyed. I was heartbroken. I'll have to send you, Sam. I'll send you a video of me squishing that box. You could just grab it and go like this.
I got one that had a $500 bottle of tequila, and I literally, as soon as I got it, I was like, why does it smell like alcohol in here? Sure enough, the one bottle had the top had blown off of it and spilled everywhere. Fucking
my house smelled
tequila
amazing.
is the worst.
My house smelled amazing after opening that box.
Smelled Jesus cologne.
Like
the
when
worst. Fucking shipping is the most stressful thing.
Oh, it is, yeah. Smells a lot like when I opened up all those LaCroix for the tasting. Oh my god. Smelled like a campfire in my house.
This spice shield that's gone missing is the only bottle I've ever had go missing or be broken. I mean, touch wood, but it's just like probably one of the more expensive bottles I've ever bought. I'm so. But maybe tomorrow I'll find out that they actually retrieved it, and I'll be good.
I got mad faith in you, Ian. I feel like fingers crossed. I mean, I know I told you
never know
story, but you're
good juju.
I mean, if you get
this bottle went missing coming over from Europe for literally 3 weeks, and you know how like it always updates your system or whatever. No update, just says received by Canada Customs. 3 full weeks, and everything normally takes 10 days or whatever. So it's like, We're almost a full month waiting for this fucking bottle to show up. Received by Canada Customs, like, oh, it's just been pinched. Like, they're not going to update it. Like, it's fucking done. And a month later, no shit, fucking shows up at the door. I'm like, oh my God, the fucking bottle actually made it. At that point, we had
It's a
picked it up.
miracle. It's a miracle.
It was a miracle. Like,
whiskey
couldn't believe it showed up. And it was DHL, too.
Well, I'm hopeful. I talked to them today. I talked to them on Monday. They said they were going to go try to pick it up on Tuesday. I talked to them on Tuesday. They said they're going to try to pick it up on Wednesday. I talked to them today, and they said we'll pick it up tomorrow. But it's like a contractor DHL, so it's like, I don't know, man. There's way too many moving parts in this thing. And my only hope is that the guy, he looks at it, finds out that he's got a bottle of whiskey he didn't expect to get. Maybe looks it up and says, "Holy shit, this is super expensive. I'm going to sell it." And he hasn't maybe had time to sell it. That's my hope. But we'll see. It's not like I'm lacking any booze. I'm fine. It's just it'd be a super bummer. It's just like the only time, because it was a domestic delivery, it's like one of the only times I didn't have Grand Whiskey auction. It's like, sure. Fuck. Anyway. We'll see.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker, man. Like, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it comes up so rarely. Right? It'd be like if I could see the committee release, the 21-year-old committee release, that would be another one to just jump on. Because like on the last few, I'm like, I gotta get this one. Anyway, what the fuck? What am I complaining about? Look at this, I'm fun. All right, it is a great taste.
I think you're good.
Great tasting
My
dinner,
headset's
Russell.
making
Thank you
all
very much.
sorts of noises. I'm running out of battery, so I'm gonna take off. Have a good night, everybody. Awesome tasting. Great to see you guys.
Good night. You too.
Okay.
Russ, you're in charge. Good luck.
I'm in charge.
I don't know. Don't give him the power again.
All right.
Don't give him the power again.
All right. I'll
You're
see you guys
running
later.
this ship.
Good night.
Fuck. In charge.
That's a good idea. I gotta go as well. Thanks very much, Russ. Great tasting. As always.
Yeah.
What's the you've announced the new one?
Later,
already.
guys.
There's
I'll see y'all soon.
Take care, guys.
Okay.
Down to the dirty stayouts, huh?
Pretty much. Yeah. It's just me and Joe. Me, Joe, Tim, and Josh passed out.
That's
He's
sick.
gone.
Fell and hit his head on the video.
Sorry, I had us all on mute. We're having a conversation here while trying to listen in, and yeah, good times.
We're going to shut her down now. So awesome tasting, Russ, as usual.
Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks for doing what you did, and thanks everybody. We'll end her here.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Okay.
Yeah, later,
Take care,
guys.
guys.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, Roger. Tim, Adam, cheers, buddy.
Yeah, later, guys.